How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster.
Welcome back everybody to With Antone MotoGP 2025. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching the end of season remote garage episodes. We've had some great engagement and some great comments, so thank you very much. But I want to ask you a couple of questions this week. So what has Liberty Media bought when they bought MotoGP? They were expecting a high intensity motorsport and they wanted to be able to grow that motorsport to its absolute maximum. It purchased 86% of Dorna for around $4 billion, $3 billion in cash plus shares and others. But approval delays meant a 6.7 capital hit and an ever-increasing operational costs that are now over 200% than what Liberty are normally used to. All this before 1 cent of revenue has even arrived. So the question this week I want to explain and go through with you is, what did Liberty actually buy? Why are they now under pressure? And can they make MotoGP the global powerhouse they hoped for? Well, first of all, they bought the wrong season. Look, when Liberty first did the deal, that was 2024. So what did they expect from? They expected the 2024 season, a very close championship, high drama going down to the last couple of rounds, strong rider rivalries, and most important, it let casual fans consume what was an exciting end to the season. So the casual fans were jumping on to watch that great end between Jorgemartin and peccobagnaia. But what did they get in 2025? Well, when the deal actually finally went through after all those delays, the first thing they got was Marc Márquez, number 93, dominating the series. They got, because of that, predictable results. A decline in viewer engagement occurred. They got reduced saleability to broadcasters. The product wasn't as exciting as what they'd hoped when they were buying it in 24, and it's lost its appeal to some of the broadcasters. Now, Liberty has similar fears going into 2026. So what should Liberty fear in 2026? Well, predictability. They do not want another season like we've just had in 2025, the season where Marc Márquez, 93, dominated from start to finish. Now, predictability in any racing series lowers the value of that series. Now, without the excitement and without the last chance, the last round, we know with Formula One, they want it to finish on that last round with a number of drivers that can win, and they want that to increase and drive the fans and the subscribers to watch the sport. I mean, has the MotoGP season really been the same since Marc Márquez got injured? You could argue that the racing, maybe it's been a bit better, it's been a bit closer, but has it really been real? Have we really seen what has happened? Take Marc Márquez out of the equation and you've got a different product. So anyway, this new product for 25 and 26, it leads to trouble. Now, Sky TV already is seeking a lower price to broadcast in Italy and Spain because they have seen a reduction in people viewing and people who are wanting to watch and engage with the sport. This is in MotoGP and also in World Superbikes. Now, what this means is Sky believe that the broadcast fees should come down because the series have lost appeal. Now, this is a huge weakness in what Liberty had hoped for their revenue plan. Things are going well in Italy, but Spain is definitely on the decline. Now, this weakness has meant Liberty is going to have to change their revenue plan. Now, majority of races that we see are behind some form of paywall. There's no easy access to see the racing. Plus, the socials and the use of the footage is something that is a real problem for Liberty Media. So the momentum that Liberty Media expected is just not happening. Now, what happens when you start to think about this? You want to rely on your key staff. Now, what's happened? Well, their big NBA hire, Dan Rossomondo, the CCO, he's leaving. Look, for all intensive purposes, he's gone. They're saying in January, they're saying he wants to spend more time with his family. But he was hired to modernize the whole commercial strategy. Now, for me, this raises some questions. Did the commercial plan stall? Did Dan not be able to see the future of what was going on there? Was that broadcast market for motorsport, MotoGP, I should say in particular, tougher than what he expected? And did this Liberty acquisition cause internal friction? Was it a USA mentality versus a Spanish mentality? I mean, you know, you've got Espeleta in charge, and was there some friction there? So losing him right now, they need to really rebuild. So what does that really mean for Liberty Media and MotoGP in 2026? Now, the Europe market is flat. So what are they going to have to do? They've got to look elsewhere, and that means a non-European market. That means the USA, America, India, places like in Asia, Indonesia, Thailand, South America, we're tapping into there already. Now, these regions and these targets bring a couple of things to Liberty, which is what they really want. They want to engage with younger fans. They want areas and locations that have a motorbiking culture with high populations and room to build narratives in and around the series and the races themselves. So how can they win? How can Liberty win at this? So they bought MotoGP for one reason, and let's not forget this. They bought MotoGP, $4 billion, euros I should say. They did it to make a profit. So they want to and they need to do a couple of things. One, improve the competitive balance. They want to see an equal playing field. They want to see riders fighting. They want to see factories, multiple factories winning, not just the red bikes every week. They want to see something else. So you know what they'd really love to see for 2027? They would love to see Marc Márquez, 93, make a move, maybe go back to Honda. They can reunite with HRC. This gives them a brand new storyline. It gives the biggest star and something to talk about. And it lets them really activate a new global marketing plan. It's not going to be the same anymore. If he stays on Ducati, the dominance that they fear may continue. And it could reset the balance is what they're really looking for. And it will let them build a brand new, exciting view on a series that should be unpredictable. Because if they don't break the Ducati dominance, it's not going to be unpredictable. So fresh interest, they also want to drive new interest, like we talked about in some of those new markets, and really get involved with what's going on. They want to engage with the casual fan. They don't want the rusted ons. If we're watching this MotoGP podcast, we're pretty well rusted on, but they want the casual fans to pop in. And it has to fit their business logic of what they're trying to do. So can they modernize the product? Can they expand globally? And can they really push home in the US market? But most importantly, can they restore unpredictability? And can they make it their next global success story? So what about you? What do you think they should do? Well, look, probably more importantly, and drop this down below because I'd love to hear this, what shouldn't they do? And can they afford to wait for 2027 and the regulation changes? Or do they need to do something earlier and do they need to act for season 2026? Anyway, I want to leave you with this question. Can Liberty Media transform the business and increase its audience without losing the soul of MotoGP that we all love? Anyway, that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it today, why don't you drop me a like, drop me a comment down below. We can have a bit more of a chat and we can see exactly what's going on. And if you've enjoyed this, why don't you share this episode for someone who's into MotoGP or someone who's going to get into MotoGP. Okay, bye for now.